Welcome back, everyone. Grab your popcorn because today's story is packed with shocking twists, emotional moments, and secrets that change everything. Let's jump right in. You know, I saw this week's General Hospital and I just had to shake my head. Right off the bat, Willow and Chase got themselves caught in a moment they probably wish nobody saw. There they were at the Quartermain boathouse, both dressed in swimsuits, looking relaxed and close, like any happy couple would. Willow reached over and gently stroked Chase's shoulder in such a tender, loving way. It was clearly an intimate little touch. But wouldn't you know it, at that very second, Tracy Quartermain walked right past them. Oh boy, you can imagine the look on Tracy's face. Tracy doesn't hold back, especially when it comes to family business. She was furious the moment she saw how Willow was touching Chase. That kind of affection right there on the Quartermain property didn't sit well with her at all. I bet those two are going to feel the heat from Tracy real soon. She's not the type to let something like that slide quietly. When Tracy gets involved, she usually makes sure people remember it for a long time. What makes this even juicier is what was happening just before that. Michael Corinthos and Jacinda were having a serious conversation, and the way Michael spoke gave me chills. He told her that if certain people went too far, they were going to expose everything and make sure the consequences were painful. It was pretty clear he was talking about Willow and Chase. That boy is still so hurt and angry about losing full custody of his son that he's willing to go to great lengths. He's hoping to catch Willow in a compromising situation so he can ruin her reputation and take his child back for good. I'll be honest with you, it looks like Michael's dark wish might actually come true. Right after he and Jacinda were plotting, Willow and Chase got caught by Tracy. The timing couldn't be worse for them. Now Tracy is mad, Michael is scheming, and poor Willow is stuck right in the middle of it all. My heart goes out to her because she's been through so much already. I've been watching these characters for years, and I tell you, this kind of drama always pulls me in. You can feel the tension building in Port Charles. Michael is playing a dangerous game. Chase and Willow are trying to find their happiness, and Tracy is like a storm ready to blow through. It makes you wonder how Willow is going to handle all this pressure. Will she be strong enough to stand up to both Tracy and Michael? Or will this one innocent moment at the boathouse cost her everything? I'll be tuning in to find out, just like I always do. These stories may be full of trouble, but they sure keep life interesting. You know, what really touched me and frustrated me at the same time in this week's General Hospital was watching Brook Lynn's big heart in action. That girl actually found it in herself to forgive Chase after he lost his entire career because of Willow. I mean, the man had a good, respectable job at the PCPD, and now it's all gone. Yet Brook Lynn still stood right by his side and defended him when others were talking behind his back. She spoke up for him like a woman who truly believes in the man she loves. Before that, I saw her having a heart-to-heart with Lucy. Lucy looked her straight in the eyes and gave her some real, honest advice. She told Brook Lynn, "Honey, you need to focus on your own family and stop letting anyone steal what you've worked so hard to build." Those words really stuck with me. It made me realize just how much Brook Lynn is willing to sacrifice. She's ready to forgive, to fight, and to put everything on the line just to have a happy, stable family with Chase. She loves him that much. But Lord, I have to say it, Chase is being so foolish and downright selfish. He's got a good woman who's loyal and strong, and he keeps breaking her heart over Willow. It makes my blood boil a little, because Brook Lynn deserves so much better than this kind of treatment. Then the scene moved outside the Quartermain boathouse, and things got even more complicated. Willow was standing there with Chase, looking guilty and a bit sad. She felt terrible that Chase had been demoted at the police department because of all the drama surrounding her. So she made him a kind offer. She asked him to become her new chief of staff. You could tell she really meant it and believed he would do a great job. At first, Chase didn't seem too excited. He kind of brushed the idea off and said he wasn't sure about jumping into politics. But Willow wasn't taking no for an answer. She sat there patiently and listed all the reasons why she thought he would be perfect for the position. She talked about how honest and trustworthy he is, how people in town respect him, how he always stands up for what's right, and how his experience as a cop would help him handle tough situations. She spoke so gently and persuasively that you could see Chase starting to think about it seriously. As they were talking, Willow reached over and touched Chase's arm in such a soft, affectionate way. It was a small gesture, but it was full of care and closeness. And of course, Tracy Quartermain happened to be nearby and saw the whole thing with her own eyes. Tracy doesn't miss much, especially when it involves her family. The moment Willow finished convincing Chase to at least consider the offer and walked away, Tracy stepped forward like a storm coming in. She looked Chase right in the face, her voice sharp and full of disappointment. She warned him clearly that this was the last time he would betray Brook Lynn. Tracy told him he had hurt that girl enough and she wasn't going to stand by and watch him do it anymore. You could feel the anger and protectiveness in her words. When Tracy Quartermain decides to speak up, she doesn't hold anything back. I'll tell you what, watching all this unfold really stirred up a lot of feelings in me. Brook Lynn has such a loving and forgiving heart, and she's fighting so hard for her family. Meanwhile, Chase seems blind to what he's got right in front of him. And poor Willow is caught up in her own guilt, trying to help Chase while making things even more messy. With Tracy now involved and furious, I have a feeling things are about to get a whole lot more complicated in Port Charles. These storylines always pull at your heartstrings, don't they? I can't wait to see how Brook Lynn handles this, whether Chase finally wakes up, and what Tracy will do next to protect her own. I tell you what, the second Tracy Quartermain saw Willow touching Chase's arm so gently outside the Quartermain boathouse, something inside her just snapped. She stood there watching from a short distance, her face tight with anger and disappointment. The moment Willow walked away, Tracy marched right over to Chase like a woman on a mission. She didn't raise her voice too loud, but every word carried real weight. She made it crystal clear that she had seen enough of him hurting Brook Lynn. From that moment on, Tracy went full force to protect her granddaughter. She started working quietly but effectively behind the scenes. First, she reached out to some of her old contacts at the police department. She reminded them how Chase had let personal problems affect his job and how his recent choices made him look unreliable. Pretty soon, Chase started feeling the pressure. Opportunities he used to have dried up fast. People who once trusted him began keeping their distance. I could tell it was eating at him, and deep down, he knew exactly who was making things difficult. But Tracy didn't stop there. She turned her attention straight to Willow. She began dropping careful words around town to the right people, especially those involved in local politics. She painted a picture of how Willow's personal troubles kept dragging good folks like Chase into unnecessary drama. Tracy made sure certain influential people started questioning whether having Chase as chief of staff was really a smart idea. Little by little, Willow felt the walls closing in. Every time she tried to move forward with her plans, she ran into unexpected resistance. Tracy's influence was like a shadow she couldn't shake. I sat there watching all this unfold, and my heart was torn in two directions. On one side, I felt proud of Tracy. That woman has always been tough as nails, but when it comes to family, she fights like a lioness. Brook Lynn has such a big, forgiving heart. She stood by Chase after he lost his badge at the PCPD, defended him when others were talking bad about him, and was ready to build a stable life together. She deserves someone looking out for her like this. Tracy was doing what Brook Lynn's own father should have done, making sure no one took advantage of her kindness anymore. Port Charles is definitely heating up. I have a feeling things between these characters are going to get even more intense in the coming days, and I'll be right here watching every single minute. Brook Lynn finally has someone in her corner who refuses to let her get hurt again, and that alone makes me smile.